Hello, this is the Dark Oracle Sage. Welcome to my YouTube channel. You can call me Dark Oracle or Sage for short. And this is episode 1 of my podcast, The Underworld Speaks. The Underworld Speaks is, as I said, a podcast that focuses on occult wisdom, witchcraft, the esoteric, and any topic I feel would be interesting to dive into. So, this first episode is called Feminine Power and Female Friendships. And we'll be focusing on why female friendships, a sisterhood, a coven, is very important, and why feminine power is important. Now, I do need to make this clear. The Underworld Speaks is also a podcast. It's also it's half podcast and half blog. So I will be using my community tab to make some blog posts sometimes, but it is YouTube exclusive. So just wanted to let everyone know there is a post already up. It is considered the prologue for this segment in this topic in general. So if you have not read it, it will be in, I believe, I'm still a new account, so I don't know if I can put links into my description bar, but if not, I will put it in my comment and pin it so that you can refer to it before or after the podcast. But a little spoiler alert. I have just defined 2 words, feminine and woman. That's it. So feel free to go and look at that either before, during, or after the podcast. So yeah, let's get started. What is feminine power? Well, to start off, I would have to define what is feminine, or what is femininity, rather. And then I would have to define woman, which, again, is in the blog post that I made in my community tab. So I will give you a minute or two to skedaddle over on there. Because I'm not about to repeat myself. I typed up a lot. I'm learning how to be less less wordy. I'm a very verbose person. Which is quite funny because when I started being active in the spiritual and magical spaces in 2019, that was something that I didn't realize until like 2022. Yeah, 2021, 2022. Now, for those who don't know me, I started on another website called Facebook, and I started posting there. Many things happened. I'm not really active there anymore, and long story short, I decided to rebrand and start anew on YouTube. So here I am with all the knowledge that I've gathered over the years and new things that I've learned. So yeah. This tendency to talk a lot has essentially followed me. And I realized that there are, more effective and shorter ways to say what I want to say. So, yeah. All right. So you should have, at this point, you should have already read the definitions, and I'm going to go ahead and define femininity within the context of this episode. So, what is feminine power? What is femininity? Femininity is an expression of what people in the occult space called, Godhead, right? So there are deities, there are gods, demons, and so forth. And there are terms like notification from YouTube, don't mind that. But there are terms like Godhead and assuming the power or spiritual ability of godhood, something like that, right? Femininity is much like that. It is an expression of that primal force that has always existed. I have a subliminal up. And it is a vampire subliminal, yes it is, but it's not like the ones you may be used to seeing on YouTube. It's very, very spiritual and occult in nature. And I explained very quickly in one of my slides. Oh, I stepped on something. I explained very quickly in one of my slides that the ultimate goddess who is responsible for forming most things, not everything, but this solar system at least, she came from that void. She came from that primal state where it wasn't conscious, right? To go from that black void, that potential, which is chaos. A lot of people think chaos means disorganized and messy. That's not what it is. That's a definition, but true chaos actually means the potential for life, aka creation, right? So the void, the black space, that's outer space, that became space, that became our soul system. She went from one state to another. She went from unconscious to conscious, formed herself a body that we would deem as a feminine body, it's called woman, right? And then she formed all these other things. So when I say women are feminine because they are simply born as, a woman. They are born, because they are born a woman, they are already feminine enough. That's what I mean. To even try to define these two words was a bit difficult for me because it's a concept that will go over most people's heads. And it's a concept that is very particular, that is very specific. I noticed that a lot of people don't teach this, they don't talk about it. And, for some reason, and depending on where you're looking, in some aspects, some parts of the spiritual or occult space, there's almost like a pushback if you try to insulate that God is female or feminine or a woman. But that's really, what it is. So I speak from life experience, my own gnosis, right? Because if you're an occultist, you know what that word means. And my own observations and other things that I've seen, heard, witnessed, and read, the beings I've interacted with. This is what I believe to be true. So, feminine power at its most primal, rawest state is the pure ability to create something from nothing. And that is exemplified by how women could be in the worst situations possible. I'm talking living situations, and they will still find a way, especially if they have kids, they will find a way to make sure that that kid has something in their stomach. That primal force that's femininity. Femininity is the power to get crap done, no matter what. If you really want to be, crude about it, right? It's the ability to get shit done. This is called a spade, right? So, when I say feminine power, this is what I'm talking about. The ability to get stuff done. It's not what these feminine coaches and gurus say, like, what I've noticed is that they try to make it like a personality trait, or they go based on sex-based stereotypes, or the stereotypes that are, repeated through some explanations of, well, it's not really explanations, but have you ever heard of or seen people be like, oh, teaching kids is like masculine. I don't do that because I don't want to be seen as masculine, but that sort of stuff. That's not what feminine and masculine, that's not what this is. What that is are people assigning personality traits or literal roles integral to society. They're basically genderized. They're putting gender on them, and that's not what that's not what these terms mean. And it creates confusion in an already insecure species, the women, and it pushes them into like this freeze or this fight or flight response where they don't want to even be misconstrued as masculine at all. And I don't blame them, because it's still happening to this day where, if a woman doesn't perform or express femininity in the way that patriarchy tells them to, or society tells them to, including, family, friends, loved ones, whatever, they feel inadequate as a woman. And I can't stand by and let that happen when the truth of the matter is femininity is vast, is expressive. There are different archetypes for every woman because there are different types of gods, goddesses. There are different functions that belong to these entities, these beings. So if woman who is, some women walking around, or the descendants of these people, descendants of ladies and commanders and chiefs and generals, if women are the descendants of these people, and everyone can be traced back to, mostly everyone can be traced back to like a point of origin, which is the feminine. It doesn't make sense for there to be a very strict box for femininity. It doesn't, right? So when I say female friendships are important, this is what I mean. You need people that are open-minded so that you can break free from the chains and the shackles of patriarchy and societal conditioning. Because in the astrals, there was no such thing as, oh, in order to be a woman, there was no such thing as that. They don't recognize that. They don't recognize that, y'all. The spirits that I work with, they're dark entities too, but some of them very popular. But what I've noticed is that not all, but some devotees, quote unquote devotees, that swear up and down that they work with these people, they parrot these beliefs. So sometimes I'm just like, are you sure you're working with the actual? But again, that's not the point of this. I do my best to be unbiased, so I'm not gonna roast people because that's not cool. Maybe in like the future, when I'm more established or something, a little jokey joke. For those who don't know me, I can be a very sarcastic ass woman, so there you go. But anyway, I think those are fireworks. I hope those are fireworks. Anyway, yeah, let's take that as a sign that, the dark forces, they feel very strongly about that. So, yeah, female friendships are very important because they can literally help save lives and, perform. They can change lives and help you transform yourself. If I didn't have the female friendships that I had, I would not have made this channel. I literally wouldn't even be around. Yeah, like it gets real dark out here. I'm alive, 1, because of my own spite, 2, because of my willpower, 3, because I'm stubborn as hell, but 4, because of my female friends. And 5, because I have goals and dreams I want to achieve, and some of those goals and dreams include seeing my female friends in person, because a lot of them are online. Not all of them, but a lot of them are online, and I want to go see them. So, I got stuff to live for, is what I'm saying. And if you don't have that connection to your own femininity, you can have an example of what it's supposed to look like. If you have those close-knitted female friendships, especially if they're growth-oriented, you can grow with them too. Even if the friendship doesn't work out and you end up drifting apart, it doesn't mean that something, it's fireworks. It doesn't mean that, you did something wrong. It just means that you've outgrown the person, right? And that's also something that I, had to learn, right? I primarily learned that through my female friendships. So, again, I'm talking from experience here. The feminine has an uncanny ability to literally turn things around, sometimes overnight, right? So if you want to be like a good friend, my suggestion is to develop a growth mindset oriented towards growth, expansion, and try to try to meet like-minded people. If you gotta journal about it, do that. If you gotta write a petition, do that. If you gotta look online and look for events to go to, venues to go to, concerts, do that. Facebook groups are a thing. And if no one is, willing to be down with you because you're into anime, you're alternative, you're goth, you're a witch, whatever, then you gotta make your own event or something like that. You gotta make your own community. Right? The lounge is my community. So here I am, exemplifying what I'm teaching. You gotta make your own community, right? Even if it's like 2 or 3 people. I would say more, but it's a secret. Anyway, only those 2 people would know what I almost said. But the point is, female friendships are good and healthy because this society that we're living in is not really conducive to the female experience, depending on where you are, obviously, and the people that you're surrounded with. And strength is in numbers. I also believe that growth happens quicker when you're around like-minded people. It's like iron sharpening iron. So obviously, I'm not saying go and befriend someone, go and use them so that you can for your character development. No, I'm not saying that. But if you're really serious about growing and doing things and achieving your dreams, you're gonna need people, because people are not islands. No one is an island. No one can do it alone. Otherwise, we would have not evolved. I'm talking about humanity. Humanity would have not evolved to need other people or rely on human connection. Because I forgot where I read it, but there was a study done, I think, either this year or some years back, where they said people who do not connect with others, people who do not socialize after a certain time period, their brain literally starts regressing. And their body goes through some kind of like withdrawal. Like there's physical consequences for not socializing, for not having connections. You don't even need to read that article. You can just look up what happens to people in solitary confinement. That's basically what happens on a, deeper scale, basically. So, yeah. If you want to go make friends, go make friends. If you want to be a better friend, then you have to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, but why? Who would befriend me, and what do I have to give? Because the feminine is also, it's a multiplier, right? It's growth, expansion, it's change, it's movement, it's action, right? It's also a multiplier. So if you bring yourself to the table, you get to, enrich that person's life just by being there, right? But if you don't have anything, nice to bring, like you're always in, let's say, always in some sort of drama or some sort of crisis, or you make, this is going to sound really harsh, I'm sorry. If you make really stupid decisions based on your inability to, like, not be by yourself, you're going to be draining and exhausting and tiring to deal with, and eventually your friends, whether they're male or female, will leave you alone. So please don't be draining. Bring something to the friendship. I'm also not saying you have to be positive all the time, because I'm damn sure not positive all the time. But I make sure to handle my business, and if I can't, then I I go to my female friends about it. Most of my friends are female, by the way, so I just say friends. But yeah, like that's all. Like most people just want to be around, especially these days, most people just want to be around authentic adults who can handle their stuff, and if they can't, they know how to ask for help. That's really it. So, if you want to be a good friend, just make sure that you're actually listening to the other person, that you provide a safe space if it's within your mental capacity to do so. Always look for different opportunities to be a better friend. That's what I do. So, over here in the lounge, we advocate for, women to be self-accountable and growth and expansion, to be free thinking, and, to just overall do everything in your power to be a better person. That's really the statement, the mission statement of this channel, really. So, I could have sworn I had something more, but all in all, female friendships can replenish. Women replenish other women. Those healthy platonic friendships, they rejuvenate and they replenish. They literally are life-giving, because what's the feminine? Creator of life. It's also death, but we're gonna save that for another episode. So yeah, just like nature can heal itself, if you study like the cycles of Earth and the massive extinctions that happened before, Earth has this funny way of replenishing herself after cleansing herself, right? There was also a bird that went extinct, a species of bird that went extinct, I believe, and Mother Nature was all like, oh, bring it back. And it came back from the brink of extinction. I will also link that in my comment below, so you can read both of those things. But yeah. You know how people say, as above, so below? There's another part of that quote, I believe, that is in the same vein, which is, as within, so without. Basically, the world, not always, because sometimes stuff just happens, but sometimes the outside world is a reflection of the inner, right? So if Mother Nature can heal herself, despite whatever is going on the surface of this plane, or planet, if you prefer, so can women. And there are studies done to show that the human body actually can heal itself, right? And one of those things that help heal the human body are healthy relationships with other people. So that's all I have today. I just wanted to make y'all think. If there's anything else I missed, I'll probably make a part 2. But I'm pretty sure I got everything in this episode. So yeah, I'm gonna cut it off here. I gotta rest my voice because this is not my main career path. This is something I do on the side. I gotta rest my vocals. Your girl's working on getting that, that bag. All right, let me get my corny ass off. But love, darkness, and moonlight, and praise be to the dark ones. See you in the next video. If you enjoyed this, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.